Got this email, rad@radradio.com. It's from Rory.
Hey, Rory.
We got Ian from Tech to You with us. He'll be co-hosting on Saturday, June 17th for a live RADurday show on RADTV at members.radradio.com as we do the Rad Not Hot Ones challenge. We're just calling it that. They are hot. But see, we're not stealing the trademark or infringing on the copyright of hot ones.
Not even close.
Right, it's not hot ones.
Hello.
Way off. Rory says, I'm excited to see y'all go through this chicken wing challenge. Some friends and I did this last summer. We used Trivial Pursuit cards for our questions to let the sauce simmer on our tongues. I am a huge fan of spicy food, and I have to say that the bomb, that's the 8th one, right, was the spiciest thing I have ever put in my mouth. I have never been so aware of how many taste buds exist on my tongue.
Oh, God.
It took an hour before my mouth felt somewhat normal again.
What?
Good luck to you all.
And you like hot food.
Nah, don't listen to them.
I don't know. He said an hour. That's kind of a long time.
You'll be fine.
Hour.
Yeah, it might be a little dramatic.
Yeah, that's a little dramatic. But that sauce in particular is just not unforgettable. I really love the Trivial Pursuit thing. That was a great idea because a big part of the process is just talking and just being in the space, existing after you've had that, not to get spiritual or anything, but that's it almost feels a little spiritual. But talking things through after we're done with each wing is the whole point. That's why we're going to do the questions.
So when I pass out from having all this spicy food, is anybody gonna give me mouth to mouth?
Yeah, we do. We have to have some type of emergency set up around here, but because we are letting people just stop. You can
you can tap out.
You
For sure. And I've had plenty of people tap out during the get-togethers that we've done, and they knew ahead of time, like, oh god, there's no possible way. I've had hot stuff that did not do good with me, and that happens. I just encourage you, push, dig deep.
So we've been talking about we're going to allow everyone's going to have milk and water, and then you can bring whatever you want that you think might be able to cut through. Now there's there will be like one break because we're going to do it over the course of probably about an hour and a half or so in real time, and so we'll set it up to where we will take a break halfway through it or so. Now during the break, are there any limits on what people can do?
No, it's the thing, and that's the thing. I'm glad you asked that because I've had people that I work with ask that same thing, like, well, you can't let them go do XYZ, otherwise they're cutting the heat. There's nothing you can do. There's it's as soon as we get, like, let's say that we take the break at number 5, once we're back at number 6, it doesn't make a difference. Whatever you did during a break is not going to help you. I mean,
the minute you bite number 6,
we're back into it.
Oh, gosh.
What about the fact during the break you and Dawn were talking things that we should have been discussing on the air, so I have to recreate all of these conversations, which you're not in show busy, and I would think the woman who's done this with me for 30 years would know. Maybe I should ask these questions on the air.
I'm not show busy either.
I digress. What about? Do you think how much different is it? Is it an extra hindrance that we're doing this first thing in the morning, as opposed to usually we do this in the evening?
I've only ever done it in the evening, so I'm in for a surprise too. But I think that you guys are going to have a massive advantage on me too, because just your guys' sleep schedule is so opposite of mine. And I don't know. I don't know that it's going to really make that much of a difference. I can't think of any particular benefit or downside to it, other than I'm not going to be as awake as you guys.
We're working on hacks, things you can do. Amber wrote in and says, "Can you put chapstick on your lips before the bites? It'll protect you from the burning and swelling."
Yeah, protect. Yeah, sure.
Ooh, I'm gonna try that.
Is that allowed?
That's totally fine.
We can all
you
have
got a whole mouth that stuff is going into. I don't care about your lips.
I'm gonna have a case of stuff.
unless you can coat your cheeks and your tongue in it too. I don't think it's gonna do a whole lot.
Wasn't it Homer Simpson before he did a pepper eating challenge? He drank candle wax to coat the side of his mouth.
Swig some Vaseline.
It actually, and the lip thing with the lip pain too is like, oh no, my lips really hurt. That was so spicy. That's something a lot of people have experienced. When we're in the higher levels, you won't care about your lips.
Will we be able to talk? I mean,
totally.
Okay.
Totally.
So it's not like anesthesia or blah, 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 blah.
But this is the best part. This is a RADTV exclusive, so it doesn't really matter.
True.
We're going to see what you're saying.
So do you think, I know you haven't done it in the morning, but I'm wondering if any type of breakfast food, which we would normally eat, and I normally eat breakfast food for breakfast, if that's going to curdle or be.
I would probably say this. I mean, this is a meal of its own. 10 chicken wings is a decent amount of wings. Like if you're eating, I'm planning on finishing every wing. Like that's my process is
not here.
start to finish. The number 8, 9, and 10. I'm gonna go to the bone on every single one of those, and so this is gonna be a meal for me, and I prefer that because I now have food in my stomach with all that spice, and I'd rather have food than just spice.
Sean Evans, who's the actual host of Hot Ones, says never do this on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
He says he'll usually have a light lunch and then eat. Now, Brandon, you've been talking about this. You're looking at this as a personal challenge. It's like a game of golf. It's not competition against us. It's a competition against yourself.
Absolutely.
Are you committing, like Ian, that you're going to finish every wing, or I'm just going to get through the 10 of them?
I didn't really think about it until now, but now that that's what Ian is doing, I definitely want to go that path, just so that I could say I went all the way and to the bone.
Does it count? Does it count if you go back and finish them? Like you take a bite of one, but you don't take all of it, and then when you're done, you go back?
I won't do that. And now I've had people that I've done this with where they did exactly that, and they were like, I just really want to try number 7 one more time. I've already had 10. How hot could 7 be? And they go back to 7, like, God, this is just as hot as it was earlier.
I feel like if you just go straight to the bone with each wing, you get a little bit of relief from eating the meat of the wing because the sauce is only on the outside. So if you just just dive in and get the whole thing done, that way you can kind of cut the spice.
Agreed completely.
And just a heads up, I've messed around with super hot sauces before, and even though we're eating them, you're eating them with your hands. Do not rub your eye. And for us men, when you go to the bathroom, make sure you're not touching it in the sensitive spot.
Ladies too.
I will be reminding you as we go, as Sean Evans does. Stay away from the eyes. Be careful around your eyes. You're going to want to wipe away sweat, and that's a big mistake if you do that wrong. I've never had anybody do it. You're pretty conscious of it.
Okay, going back to the breakfast. So, because I'm not a person who eats spicy foods. So, are there foods that you should avoid because once they're in your belly, and then now you're eating spice, it like conflicts and makes your stomach upset.
That's a good Dawn's doctor question. But what I would probably say, so before I come, I'm going to be having a egg and bacon breakfast sandwich. That's what I'm going to have before I come here, and that's kind of my normal daily breakfast. I'm going to just keep with the routine, have a little something in there. But that's part of the reason why I eat the entire wing. So many people that go on there, they do those little nibbles. They have all that heat and they have no food in their stomach. So I eat the whole thing.
We'll get to some more prep in a moment, but a few other people are writing in with their hacks in the moment, which you say eventually you can't avoid it. There's nothing to the
It is what it is.
Brian says, you may not believe me, but I have the best cure. We used to eat ghost peppers, and all you have to do is put some table salt on your tongue, and it gets rid of the burning.
I could see how a lot of salt would help cut it, but okay. So ghost pepper, when you're eating an actual ghost pepper, a raw pepper, that's a very different experience than what we're going to be doing. Ghost peppers are actually a very, not that I've eaten one raw, but from what I understand, they're a very flavorful pepper. They have kind of a floral note to them. They actually taste good, but they're unbearably hot. It's not my interest. But that said, when you eat an actual pepper, it's not the same thing as consuming the amount of spice that we're getting. When as soon as you swallow it and you're kind of like in feeling it, you start getting the heat up the side of your head. You feel the warm ears.
No,
because it's not just the mouth. It's you're gonna, as they get hotter, we're gonna feel it in our esophagus.
You'll feel it.
God.
Well, I never felt esophagus pain. Okay. I never felt that at all. But heat everywhere. Warmth everywhere. Like I'm gonna turn beet red. We're gonna have to do some color correction potentially on
RADTV.
We're gonna look pretty awful here.
And my favorite. I love to be hot.
Dino's the only one that's going to look good through this whole process.
Randy said, what about a popsicle to rub on your tongue and such?
Yeah. That's good. We've done those before. Those are really good, like temporary relief.
Now, oh my God, I'm gonna have so much stuff, so I need a cooler.
We're eating the wings as you described as they're prepared, and we're not allowing people to dip them, right? You have to eat the wing. I don't think
we should be allowing dipping. Yeah.
So what about again? Sean Evans has a thing where he's giving tips for if you do this at home. could people, could they take the bite and they brought their own ranch dressing? They take the bite and then they take a swig or a shot of ranch dressing.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, you can. I don't think that. For me, things that tasted awful didn't help the heat. I was just then tasting something awful and dealing with the heat. So it's just, I'd rather just go through it. I think the last time I did it, I got to like, I don't know, wing number 7 or something before I started to go for milk. But I try to hold off on purpose because I don't know what it is. Maybe it's kind of like the first break you take when you're getting a tattoo or any of those, like, okay, I need my break now. It's a little harder to keep going. It's like breaking the seal, like you try to avoid it. And then once you've done it, yeah, I've already done it.
Michael says the best thing to help take away the spice after eating something spicy is grapes. Never heard of that.
Oh my God, so many things I'm adding to my list.
Steve says honey helps to coat the mouth ahead of time. You do some honey.
Honey, I could see it wouldn't last. I mean,
God,
basically number 6 will probably cut right through that.
So what about, so we're talking about things you can do in the moment. Are there any tips? Because we got all these people that are going to be playing along at home. I don't know, like half dozen to a dozen maggots have written in and said, we're going to do this. Most of them are doing it with the hot ones sauces. Some of them are doing it with their own sauce or whatever.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll be able to write in or call in. I mean, because it'd be great to hear them try to talk.
Yeah.
If you got a month to prepare, but if you want to set up your cell phone and record yourself as you de-evolve while you're doing it at home, and you want to email them to us, we'll put up a bunch of them on RADTV of how the maggots did.
Fun.
that's great.
I like
So
that.
what about like, is there anything you do the day ahead of time or the morning of, besides we got breakfast, but
The
what
only
else?
thing that I could say, and I don't know how expert of an opinion this is, just my experience of it is cream seems to help a lot of the effects the next day. And just having, that's where probably even things like donuts can potentially be helpful, is just anything that's absorbent.
But that's in the
your
moment,
stomach.
right? Or do you mean before?
Just around the time that you ate it all, because it's not going to matter when it's the next day. It's all in your stomach at the same time. So try to absorb some of that.
So what about any types of medications? Like before,
we're gonna
during,
I think we're going to aim for, okay, so before medication, I'd like to do Pepsid, at least me. That's what I'm going to target. I'll bring some for everybody. But there's different levels of Pepsid too. Actually, when we did this a couple times ago, a friend of mine who's a doctor brought this basically prescription grade Pepsid. I honestly don't know what it was. It didn't have a label on it. I'm pretty sure we were sober the whole time. But the stuff that she brought was certainly helpful the whole next day.
Okay, so you brought up like donuts because of the absorption and all of that. So could you do like, because cream cheese they say could be helpful. So could you do bagel cream cheese?
That's a smart idea.
So
I think
you're
that's
absorbing
good.
it, and then you have the okay. All right.
Yeah.
Add it to my list.
Yeah, you're gonna have a literal smorgasbord.
And any of you are welcome to.
if you bring
I'll
cookies,
donuts for everybody.
I'll just partake with
cookies
those.
might help
I've
'cause
had
they're
your cookies
sweet.
before, and they are incredible.
Oh, thank
Anything
you.
pleasant during this process is going to be nice. And really, even I actually do mean that too. Even if it doesn't just cut the heat, just having something kind of pleasant is going to be a nice addition to the experience. Yeah.
Ryan says, as gross as it may sound, I've used olive oil to cut spice.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. So again, anything coating, right? Olive oil, like any kind of oil. I can see them
In the moment or before?
That'd be a kind of an in the moment thing, because olive oil, I would imagine, like if you put too much olive oil on pasta, say for example, and you eat it, it doesn't stay in your mouth forever. It kind of feels like it's there for a minute or two, but you put something really spicy in there, it's only going to help for a moment. So I would think that's kind of an in the moment technique. I'm willing to try,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that I just need one of those little fridges, and I have a plug over here. Whatever you all need, I'll open the fridge. Keep your milkshake cold till you're ready for it.
That milkshake needs to be right there where you can grab it. I'm not going to be running over there asking you for it.
For us, of course, but Ian says he doesn't really do anything till these 8 in.
No, and so I'm going to be on the show, and I'm going to be hosting, and so Sean Evans is really good at this. He still shows signs of wear in the process,
Oh, no.
and I will too. But I want to be able to make it all the way through. The challenge challenge for me is composing myself for the questions. And so I'm thinking about that as I write these. I don't want them to be too long. So my process, just a little before, behind the scenes and before we do this, is that we're going to basically, let's say we do number one, we ask the question, whoever gets question number one answers it.
But we take the bite first.
Take the bite. We all eating for, let's say 10, 15 seconds. We're just kind of eating our wings. You're getting to watch us and hear the slop noises in the microphone, and then we're gonna ask a question, and then the question's gonna be answered, and we're gonna all kind of know, okay, it's time to move on to wing number 2. Now, the thing that's gonna be different for me is that I'm going to be powering through these wings because I need to get through the wing faster than you guys, so that when I finish it, I can move on to my question, and I can start answering my question at about the time you're finishing up your wing, so that we don't have just this really slow process. And that's how I've done it every time. So I'm used to it now, but it's a challenge.
And that's part of the reason why this has to be a RADTV event, because
totally.
Obviously you want to see people and how they react, but there will be like some pauses maybe where no one's saying anything.
Literal radio silence.
Right, but
Yeah.
you get to see how each person is reacting or what they might be doing.
And if anybody's watching, there's going to be a lot of this.
No, but see, now what he did was he put his hands over his face. Now, if you've got any sauce on him, back to Kyle's point. Oh my God.
Yep.
It hurts.
So what isn't encouraging is, who's it, Sean Evans, the host?
Yeah.
Is that he's done this more than once, yet each time he struggles.
Yeah,
You think you'd be used to it.
you're just kind of you're riding along the path. It's fun. I'm looking for it. I don't want you to be scared of it. It's a fun process.
Greg says when he's cutting jalapenos, he uses lemon juice to remove the hot oils, hopefully from your mouth.
I've heard the citrus trick. It didn't work for me.
So you have tried it.
I've tried it. It didn't do anything. I tried limes. So I don't know, lemons are gonna be that much different, but it didn't do much for me.
Somebody earlier said grapes, but so Jenna says, "Hey Dawn, why don't you try frozen grapes?"
Oh, I love frozen
Yeah?
grapes.
That sounds like an interesting thing.
Yeah.
to try.
Do you
that's-
have a literal list that
right.
you do?
Right now, I just started writing.
That's it. Yep. There's
Yep.
a list of things there.
Well, and that'll be the cool thing is,
getting longer.
as we bring in multiple things, we also get to report on, oh yeah, the grapes, they're not working.
Yeah.
Or, oh, okay, this one seems to be working, and how long does it help? Alex says that chocolate was his savior when he did it.
Yeah, sweets again. They can help a little bit, but I warn against doing these too early. So for anybody who's gonna play along, and I love that people are gonna go through this with us, if you're doing it, don't jump into your saving tools on spice number 3. Wait a little bit. If you start using everything at your disposal very early, it's gonna not feel helpful when you get later on in the process.
But what about like Dawn and Dino, and Dawn in particular, as I've seen it over the years, she's very, very sensitive to this. So like that, the second one might be like dying. I mean, is there like, do you have a scale for, okay, this is what it feels like, I need to grab the milkshake or whatever?
Yeah, I every person knows their limits, and you'll feel when you've reached them.
I don't have a limit.
In other words, the limit is that she's going to show up and do this.
Yeah.
Listen.
You got her to come in on a Saturday.
I'm a gamer. I'm doing it, and I know we're going to have fun. However, the worrisome parts are that must have been a very, very hot pepper of some kind that my husband forgot that he put in there when I told him about the meat. But we always get mild salsa.
Yeah.
And just the other day, I poured out, put some mild salsa in a bowl, dipped a chip, and I had to check the bottle 3 times to make sure it said mild.
So
Because they might have put some hot, right? Like they accidentally put some hotter peppers in there because it was not the same mild as before. And I'm like, maybe this is seasonal, what they ended up using, and
maybe what we'll do is if you tap out on like number 4, let's say, you can just join us for number 10. And then, and then you don't have to worry about the ramp up.
he is so hopeful.
Oh.
He said number 4.
Well, so
I'll be so proud of myself if I make it to 4.
I mean, and that's anybody, like if somebody taps out, wherever it is, 4 or 7, if they feel like okay, I'm ready to try another one after 20 minutes, they can just rejoin.
Totally.
But
Free
they don't rejoin at number 5, right?
No, you rejoin where we're at.
where we are.
Yeah. You join where we're at.
Do
so
not
tap
rejoin
out
it.
when you're certain you need to tap out. But I will also say, treat that any one of us has done that thing where you're trying to get the extra push up in. You're trying to get one more pull up. You're trying to run just a little bit further. This is a gauntlet, and if you have that capacity to like, okay, I'm going to push myself a little bit farther, there's no question that your body can handle it. It's all mental.
Right. When you push yourself with those things you talked about, there's major benefits to that.
Yeah, there's no benefit
There's no benefits
here.
to this.
No.
Are there any prizes with this at all? Are we gonna win anything if we can eat all the
Just-
chicken off the wing with the hottest sauces?
I'm going to
Like,
give you
say-
a friendly smile, a handshake, and
not
you'll
a
have some
prize.
prize.
Kyle, you'll get a paycheck.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna get that either way.
You'll get Rob's famous whoop-de-doo award.
Somebody wrote in and said a raw hot dog or cold bologna beforehand, so you get the film of fat in your mouth.
Gross.
Oh, no thanks.
It's already unpleasant. I don't want
Ew.
that beforehand.
No.
That would make me nauseous.
Gross.
I couldn't even imagine eating a
actually-
cold hot dog.
That actually sounds like a good idea. It's like the candle wax thing. You do it beforehand.
I've been on hard times. I've never eaten a cold hot dog.
I love cold hot dogs.
God.
Ugh.
Yeah, I think a Slim Jim might work better because they have like the more oily fatness inside of it, and it always coats your teeth.
I you try whatever you want.
You have no faith that anything's going to work.
No, I mean,
Eventually.
you're gonna feel like actually Gordon Ramsay's episode of the actual show on YouTube is such a great example of there is no escape. He brought a fire hydrant that shoots milk. I mean, like all kinds of silly stuff, and it's you're gonna feel it one way or the other. If we go all the way to number 10 especially, but even once we're at like 6 or 7, we're getting pretty hot. We're getting at the territory where people who like hot food, this is about what they get when they say, I want to go to the Indian restaurant and get the 3 spices, the maximum. That's about where we're at. Once we get to 8, we're at the level of spice that is intended to be like you drop a teaspoon into 10 gallons of chili. That's where we're going to be aiming for.
See, I love your thought process of, so it's gonna burn anyway. So eat something pleasant.
Yeah.
But eat something that you love,
Yeah.
because at least you're still gonna get the hot no matter what.
Yeah.
It's really not gonna take it away. There wasn't anything that's gonna truly take it away. So like, just have something that
There's
you
some-
find pleasant.
There's benefits to different things. Like I wouldn't eat like tortilla chips are going to do nothing at all, right? Whereas a donut that will have something and it tastes good.
Yeah.
But for me, again, that's where the milkshake comes in.
So we talked about this earlier, but when you say to me, have something you love, something that tastes great or whatever. So I go back to alcohol. So like Tahoe Blue vodka, and Sarah says vodka helped cut the spice when I did a hot wing
Don't
challenge.
do vodka.
Yeah,
Don't do
no,
alcohol. And then, okay, I'll give a little preview on this. The reason you don't want to do alcohol is because what happens when your body is hot and you begin to sweat? You inhale and you exhale faster. Your heart rate accelerates. What happens when you go run a mile after a couple shots of alcohol? Those were significantly more effective than if you were just sitting down drinking. This is not a good time to drink.
So I used to work at a wing place, and they have a super spicy sauce, and they do a challenge with it. And I did the challenge, and the only thing to drink after I ate a bite of it was tequila, and it almost made me throw up. It didn't help at all.
No.
No. That'd be if I really didn't like you guys.
When Ian was describing the physical effects that at some point you feel it in your stomach, or you just feel heat coming all the way up, Dawn pointed out that she hates being hot, let alone spicy food. She hates being hot. So Jameson says, I'm an HVAC guy. I'm curious what temperature you'll set the thermostat at. I'm specifically asking for Dawn. I mean, we could always turn it down more if that would help.
For those that don't know, it's cold in here.
Yeah, listen, it's cold in here to me. It's always a freezer in here, so it's already set probably. In a good place. I won't have to wear a jacket.
Yes, it is 69 is what it said. So
It feels colder.
So usually when we do a RADurday show or after hours or anything like that, we always end with dirty jokes from the maggots. Should we move that? And like should we end with, okay, we ate all 10 and we'll see you next time? Or should we
Man,
should
if
we
you
try
wanna-
to plow
if you wanna
through?
Just really showbiz hard. You could push. It's you want a break after this. It's a gauntlet. You know, I think you're gonna want to chill. Brandon, if he does all 10 with me, and oh, by the way, number 10 we put a little extra on. That's kind of a standard practice. We do a little dab of extra on number 10. If you go through the whole thing and you go number 10, you're gonna have a hard time working after that. I would think. You're a professional. I'm not your skill level, but I don't think I could do that.
Somebody wrote in, Dawn, if you want to add anything to your list, said cucumbers can
Oh, I
break
love
the heat.
cucumbers.
Savannah says, what about drinkable yogurt?
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Little go-gurts.
Yeah.
All right, so
right, okay, go
the Rad Not Hot Ones Challenge will be Saturday, June 17th, a month from today, 6 to 9 a.m. live on RADTV. You got to be a member to see it at members.radradio.com. We're going to start, between 7:30ish.
Yeah, that's where we're aiming for.
With the first hour
gosh.
will be all the anxiety-filled first regular hour of the RADurday show, and then we'll get to it. You can play along with us at home.
I feel like I got to make sure everything's in order.
If
Yes, you get my turquoise. You get this. You get that.
If I can add, I asked last time, I wanted questions submitted to me, Ian at tech2.com. If you have questions or some ideas of good questions I could ask the crew, I got